Welcome to the High Vibration Living podcast. I'm your host, Chef Whitney Aronoff, and today I have the pleasure of chatting with Carly Brown. Carly Brown is a holistic health practitioner and thyroid cancer survivor. She passionately shares detox tips and tools to support healing and healthy living. She is owner of Alchemy Juice in Austin, Texas, created out of a desire to share therapeutic juices with others who are healing from cancer, chronic illness, or just looking to feel better, cleanse, and thrive. They do it right, serving cold pressed juice in glass bottles with 100% organic ingredients, low sugar, and infused with love. Welcome to the podcast, Carly.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and have this conversation with you today.
Thank you. Well, can you just briefly share your background and how you became a holistic wellness practitioner? What led you to that career shift?
Absolutely. So growing up, I grew up in Long Island, New York. My mom was always actually into health, which is like a pretty unique thing in the 1980s. I remember that she would order raw milk delivered to our house, and I despised it. I was like, and she would explain to me how conventional milk has hormones. And I was like, I don't care. I just want the hormone milk like everyone else. Like I would fight against the things that she was doing, which is so funny because now I teach all about this. But I say this part of the story because I always tell this to mothers. I'm like, listen, they might be fighting against you, but they're listening, and it's getting into their mind, and it's getting into their body, and it's getting into their heart. So just keep on keeping on. And when it's time for them to go out on their own and to make choices, they're going to remember your voice, because I did. So later on in my life, I went to college and unhealthy habits, and after college, I went on a trip, traveled around the world for a little while. And when I came back, I had cystic acne. I was carrying about 20 extra pounds. My skin was broken out, and I just didn't really feel well at all. And at this point, I was introduced to the kind of food as medicine through my very first cleanse program that focused on juicing, lots of big raw salads, and doing colonics. So I did a 3-week cleanse, and I started feeling really, really good. And so I did another 3-week cleanse, and I ended up doing it for 9 weeks as a total. Wow. And my life changed in that time. I remember talking to my mom, and I said, I never want to be not sexy again, because I felt so sexy and embodied, and not just like, when I say sexy, I don't just mean like the physical term of sexy, but it was like my body felt good. Like I felt connected to my digestion, and my head was clear, and I was sleeping well. And I was like, that feeling was sexy to me. Yeah. And so my very first program that I ever did was called 12 Days to Sexy. It was a body, mind, spirit approach to health and vitality. I guess after that, I moved to Austin, and I started working, doing event coordinating for a nutrition company. So at that point, I was learning a lot about herbs and supplements and how they could be used in place of pharmaceutical drugs. And I was event coordinating for these events where naturopathic doctors, acupuncturists, chiropractors would come, and how to learn, and they would learn about how to use these supplements. And I was just sitting in the back of the room taking all of this in. And it was during that time that I got my certification to become a holistic health coach, got my yoga certification, and just really dedicated my life to helping people feel and live better, because our mainstream culture isn't doing it. Our doctors aren't doing it. The things that really are going to help you day to day are your habits. And so that's what I really focus on. And that's what I really focus on teaching people, are like the ways to weave practices and habits into your everyday life that really create a profound shift in how you feel and how you live.
I completely agree with you. And I would love to learn what are some of the modalities that you sneak into your week that help keep you balanced and sustain your health and well-being.
So, I mean, there's one big kind of section of the story that I ended up getting diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Now this was after 10 years of living my life in this holistic way. I'm diagnosed with thyroid cancer. I'm like how could this possibly have happened? Like I'm the one who teaches people about health and healing. So I'm going to get to your question about habits, but I feel like this is a relevant part of how I answer that question. So after being diagnosed with thyroid cancer, the conventional treatment for that is surgery, radiation, and a pharmaceutical hormone treatment the rest of your life. And I was never anti doing those things, but I really wanted to understand the root cause. How does someone like me who lives the way that I do end up with cancer? Because up until that point, I just thought cancer was like, you're overweight or you smoke cigarettes or you eat fast food every day. Like, how did I don't understand. So in order to prevent it from ever coming back again, I set out on a healing journey. Now, so this healing journey goes over 3 years, but one of the main core things that I found was that, we all have cancer cells in our bodies, and some people turn them on and some people don't. Mine were turned on because of a rampant dental infection that I had. I fell in college and I knocked out my two front teeth and broke this bone in my mouth. And because of that, I had 2 root canals. I had a titanium implant, and I spent 7 years doing reconstructive surgery on my mouth. Now, in that 7 years, what I later found out with a biological dentist was that I had a terrible infection growing in my mouth, which downregulated my immune system. And on top of that, over 7 years, I had an enormous amount of x-rays right over my thyroid and my mouth. And no one was putting a shield on me. And so it's one thing that I really advocate for is make sure when you go any x-rays, of course, but especially dental x-rays, make sure you're asking for a thyroid shield to cover up your thyroid, because they're not just doing that. So before I did any conventional treatments, I set out on a holistic healing journey. So I took everything that I'd learned over the last 10 years and just kind of supercharged them and went super, super deep, mainly into detoxification. And why detoxification? Because what we want to do is unburden the body from the toxicity from our food, from our air, from our water, from pharmaceuticals, from just day-to-day living. The body is an innate self-healing mechanism. And when given the right conditions, the body can heal itself. So everything that I was focused on doing was really focused on detoxing and taking the burden off the body. So when we come back to my daily habits, I love talking about detox. It's one of my favorite things to talk about, because regardless of whether you're healing cancer or chronic illness, you're human walking around outside. And I actually have a program called the Daily Detox, because my belief is that we can be doing small things every single day to detox our bodies. So what does that look like for me? First of all, waking up every single morning, putting my feet on the ground and thanking God that I'm alive. Like, I get to be here. That's off the bat. Like, I'm winning, because I got to see what it was going to be. I had a feeling, an experience of what it could be like if I wasn't here. And I'm just grateful that I get to be here and do work that I care about and raise my 2 sons and love my husband. So off the bat is gratitude. Then I drink clean water. I drink alkaline hydrogen water. So that's the first thing that I do every single morning with some electrolytes in it. And then I'll do an enema. So I'm really like doing coffee enemas. Enemas are a really helpful detoxification for the liver. And the liver, we really have to put concerted and focused effort on detoxing the liver. It's really the filter of the body. And if the liver gets backed up or overburdened, it's when we can start having, skin outbreaks or migraines, or just feeling sluggish and just not that like zest and pep for life. So a lot of what I do is focused on detoxing the liver. And coffee enemas are a big tool for that. And then, like you mentioned, I own a organic juice company. So I drink about 32 to 64 ounces of raw organic cold pressed juice a day. And I would say at the base, because I am an entrepreneur, because I'm a mama, I don't get to like the next 8 things that I would tell you are like on my dream list. Yeah. There was a time in the height of my healing journey where I was spending 2 to 3 hours a day healing. But I would say as a foundation in regards to daily habits, it's gratitude, water, a coffee enema, and juicing. And I got to add in movement. I go on a walk every single day, mostly for mental health, but that's like one of my favorite mental health practices is just long walks in nature, but also physically too, to stay strong and feel good.
Do you do anything special whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, to check in on your oral health, because that, became an issue that completely changed your life. How do you check in and make sure infections don't come back?
So the way that you check infection is with a cone beam scan, like a light beam scan. And you can do that with a biological dentist. So at this point, I do one of those once a year to check in on that. I go to a biological dentist in Marble Falls, Texas, called Healthy Smiles for Life. They're absolutely phenomenal. People come from all over the country to go see them. So, and then I get a cleaning every 6 months. And essentially they know me, they know my case, they know my teeth. And so I go in there every 6 months consistently. I get my cleaning done. They check in on things. But once the initial infection, I had to have 3 different surgeries to actually remove the infection from my mouth. We had to take out the root canal treatment teeth. We had to take out the titanium implant. It was quite intensive, quite honestly. But after that initial infection was cleared from those surgeries, I've been clear for about 3 years now. So it's not coming back because we took the offender away. The way that I explain it was just like, when I had that infection in my mouth, it was like the faucet was open and it was just this drip of infection that was affecting my immune system. And now that faucet has been turned off. So that's no longer happening.
Well, like I think a lot of people these days, I'm really fascinated with water and trying to find better water systems or good water systems that I can consistently count on to, hydrate my body and get me clean, clear fluid. What's the water system that you use and how did you find it?
So the first off the bat, I have a whole house filter. And I think the whole house filter is a really important thing to note because when you take a shower, your body can consume up to eight glasses of water. So think about it. Most of us are trying to drink 8 glasses of water a day, but in one 10-minute shower, your skin is absorbing those 8 glasses of water. So a lot of us are really mindful about making sure that we filter our drinking water, but we don't even think about our shower or our bath water, especially the bath water that we're bathing our children in every day. So I use a Radiant Life I think it's a series 4 whole house filter. So that goes on, that's like connected to the water source of my home. So all of the showers and baths are filtered. And then the whole house filter connects to something called a Kangen water ionizer that makes alkaline hydrogen water. And so that is, maybe it's about 3 pounds and it sits on my kitchen counter. And that's then what we use for our drinking water. So this is going to be a very high antioxidant rich water. So the breakdown in our bodies comes from oxidative stress. I think about when an apple browns, it's oxidizing, it's oxidation. As we grow older, we're oxidizing. So the antioxidants like berries or alkaline hydrogen water, these are antioxidants that reverse the process of aging or the disease process. So off the bat, that was the first reason that I was interested in it, because I'm interested in anything that is going to reverse or also just prevent any potential diseases from living in a modern world where we have toxicity in our air, in our food, in our water. So I drink that every single day. And then in addition to that, there's an 11.5 pH, which is a very high pH. It's about 10 times, how do I want to explain it? Essentially, it will remove the oil-based pesticides that are on produce. So even conventional produce is sprayed with oil-based pesticides. So I let all of my produce soak in there for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then I'm ready to prepare it, cook it, use it in a salad, whatever it might be. So, and there are other variety of pHs on this machine. So I really use it as a non-toxic tool, like the 2.5 I use as a cleaner in my home. The 6.0 I use on my skin, the 8.5 to the 9.5 I drink. So I have a whole house filter that then funnels to the water ionizer that helps with produce and also my daily drinking water.
How did you find the whole house filter to use? Because I've talked to so many different plumbers for recommendations, and like nobody seems to know the right house filter to put on. So I'm curious how you came across the system you chose? And then how did you work with a plumber to get it installed?
So I just know Radiant Life products. Essentially, I like them. Hey, baby, mommy's on a podcast. Do you want to pause it?
No, it's all good.
So Radiant Life, I was familiar with their products as a whole.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really recommend when you're looking for a whole house filter is that I don't recommend a reverse osmosis system, because reverse osmosis is stripping everything from the water, including all of the minerals. So I would just say, look for a whole house filter that maintains the minerals and also that works with your local water source. So I was able to connect with a plumber and I asked him, like, what kind of systems will you install? And I sent them the link and said, like, will you work with this system? They said yes. So I kind of did a little bit of a pre, I don't know, looked at it beforehand to make sure that they were able to install that specific one. But there was just a trust there with Radiant Life. They have great products.
All good?
All good.
And then with your sink filter, I believe that's the type of water system that allows you to take it with you on an airplane. Is that right?
Yes. I'm sorry. Can you hold on 1 second?
No problem.
I'm so sorry. Are you using this video?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Life happens. It's all good.
Wait, you're going to edit it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm giving you editing work right now.
It's all good.
Cruz, you can either be in here. No more, baby. No talking in here, okay? Shh, silent. Okay, you go.
All right. Sounds good. So tell me about your sink filtration system and why you're able to take that water through security at the airport and on your flight. That has always fascinated me, that there is a way around going through TSA or any sort of security pre-check and being able to take your own water.
Yes.
How does that work?
So that machine, the Kangen water ionizer, is a certified medical piece of machinery. So you actually get a certificate when you buy it. They're created in Japan, and the hospitals there use them to sanitize, to clean, to give to patients. So it's actually considered like a medical device, let's say. So you have that certificate, which I've actually never needed to use. I have had it with me before, but because it's so antioxidant rich and because of the hydrogen that's present, it's considered a medical grade water. And so essentially, and I'm using it on my cancer healing journey, as do many other people who use and drink this water. So I just bring as many containers as I want, and however you travel, whether it's like glass jugs or something like that. And when I go through, they say, okay, you have to pour your water out. And I say, oh, actually, this is medical grade water. If you can just, like, they wave a little piece of paper to make sure there's no vapor coming off of it. So they just wave a piece of paper over it, and then they say you're ready to go. So they've only once have they been like, oh, no, you can't take it through. I'm like, no, I've actually done it before. It's medical grade. You can just use that piece of paper. And they're like, oh, okay, because that is the case. I think really when it comes to TSA, if anything is needed, like medically speaking, you can bring it through with you. The same way when you're traveling with children, you can bring through their water cup and things like that. They just test it. So there are loopholes around it. And if you have the right information, then it's just easy to move through. So just saying it's medical grade water has been sufficient, but you can bring the certificate if you just want that like extra backup.
Do they still send it through the conveyor belt through the scan? Or are you able to go around that?
I asked them not to. I asked them just like, please don't put it through there. And they've been fine with it because I don't want it going through the X-ray machine, you know? So, then they've been okay with that.
Have you ever tried it with your juice and being able to take your juice onto your flight? Because there is a detox and wellness practitioner I know that does get a doctor's note so she can bring her juice on flights. And I was curious if you've ever done that.
It's so funny that you asked that, because honestly, the last time I brought the water through, I was like, why am I not doing this with juice? Like that is also a medical grade, raw, organic, cold press. We make it therapeutic grade. It's supportive of a healing journey. But that's interesting to hear someone did it. I haven't tried, but I'll have to do it and report back.
Yeah. Natalia Rose does it with the doctor's note every time.
Okay.
I've been following her since 2015, and she's been doing it since 2015.
All right.
Probably prior. So if you do it, let me know. And it's something that I personally have always wanted to do, because you really don't want to eat on a flight. That's not great for your colon and your digestive system. But you do need nourishment when you're traveling long distance. And I find whenever I'm on a flight, it's like the one time I really just want bone broth because it's so cold, you just want like a broth. But so if you ever have success with bringing your juices on, let me know.
I definitely will. Thank you for the inspiration to try that.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to chat about some of the different healing modalities that you talk about with your clients, like mindset, nutrition, detox, colonics, castor oil packs, and find out how often you recommend some of these modalities for your clients that are maybe just starting out or wanting to connect with you and do a refresh in the new year.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say off the bat, mindset, you listed it first, and that's because mindset is absolutely everything. First, the mindset that you are worthy of healing, that you deserve to heal, that you are worth the time that it takes you need to invest, or worth the finances that you're going to invest in a healing journey. Getting your mind in the right place to say, I can do this, I deserve to do this, and I am worthy of this. So that would be number one, because especially a lot of women who are mothers, the narrative is like, give to your children, pour into them. And in that process, the mother's forgotten, and the world is going to respond to how you show up for you. So if you show up saying, I'm worthy, I deserve this, I'm going to carve out the time to pour into myself, understanding that by pouring into you, it has a ripple on everyone around you, then the world is going to respond to that energy as well. And that was something that I had to do very early on. Now, what I say is that it was a cancer diagnosis for me that brought me to my knees, and I had no choice to prioritize myself. But for a lot of people, it's hard to, it's almost like people need a crisis in order to make a big life change. So I say, like, learn through me, and don't wait for the diagnosis. Don't wait for the crisis. Be willing to make like the changes needed right now. So right now you can, someone who's listening to this can choose to say, you know what, I'm going to upgrade my mindset around this. There are books that I like The Power by Rhonda Byrne, The Power of Positive Thinking. It's really mind training. Because every single thought that you have has a vibration and has energy into it and goes out into the world and has a ripple. So if you can catch yourself when you're having a disempowering thought and say, oh, no, that's not going to serve and support me, and you can reframe it and create something more empowering, then that's part of the mindset work. That's part of the mindset training. So mindset off the bat. Detoxification, I think, like some of the things that we spoke about earlier, like my focus on water, on juicing, coffee enemas, movement. I really enjoy jumping up and down. I have a rebounder, so I spend 10 minutes every single morning that supports lymphatic drainage. And my son, my toddler, has a big trampoline in the backyard. So sometimes I just go out there and jump with him. Lots of antioxidant rich foods rich in phytonutrients. I'm no longer fully raw, but for the first year of my healing journey, I did eat a fully raw diet. And I mean, it was absolutely profound that I was going through a healing journey, and also experiencing some of the greatest health of my life, because I was juicing so much. I was eating raw food. I was moving my body every single day. Two of the most powerful habits that I say, people are like, well, what do you think had the biggest effect? And I would say, coffee enemas every day. So coffee enemas are the detoxification, taking the bad out, and juicing and putting all of the live raw plant enzymes into your body. So if there was, if there's two things you're like, okay, Carly, what are two things that I could get started with? I would say juicing and coffee enemas would be a really, really powerful place to start. And I use a juicer called the Nama J2. It's one of my favorite juicers. I recently just found out about it. I've used all different types of juicers and I like all of them for a different reason. But when it comes to recommending a juicer, the Nama has been the easiest to use. It's hands-free. It literally has a hopper on top. You put everything in there, you turn it on, and then you can walk away and then it makes the juice for you. So like my 3.5-year-old loves to use it. He loves to juice with me. And they did a sale recently. And so a bunch of people bought it that time. And like right now I'm hearing from them, like 5 people a day, like, this is amazing. I love this juicer. So that could be, I do think that juicing at home feels overwhelming for people, but having the right tools is going to make a big difference. Additionally, you of course can find a good juice shop. Not everyone is doing raw, cold pressed, organic glass bottles. But a couple of the questions that you can ask when you call your local juice shop is, do you cold press your juices? How do you prepare them? Are they cold pressed? Because the other option that a lot of commercial juice bars use is that they use these centrifugal juicers and they spin, they go really, really fast. And that can actually heat up the juice and degrade the enzymes of the juice, which is why it's so healing. It's especially why you don't want to be buying juice at a grocery store, because at a grocery store, they do something called high pressure pasteurization. And essentially they make a living food dead so that it can sit in a bottle on a grocery store shelf. So it's just glorified apple juice. Like there's no healing benefits to it. So I don't recommend wasting your time on that. What you want is the food that's alive with the enzymes. And so by making sure that you ask about their extraction process, that they're maintaining the integrity and the quality of the juice. So ask, is it cold pressed? Is it organic? And, I would say those are the two biggest ones. And then is it raw? You want to make sure that they don't high pressure pasteurize it. So that's how you can start, by asking. If you don't feel ready to juice at home, the questions you can ask your juice bar. But if you do want to juice at home, the Nama J2 is a fabulous recommendation.
If you want to juice from home, like in the winter time, this time of year, what maybe juice combinations do you recommend people to get started with?
Well, I live in Texas, so it's pretty warm year round, but I would say look to your herbs, things like ginger, garlic, turmeric, things that could create a little bit more heat in the body. Also, a recommendation would be not to put it in the fridge, so that you're not dropping the temperature of the juice a lot. Just juice it and drink it at like a room temperature. And then we actually, like in the winter, so in the summer, we have a spicy greens that has pineapple. And then in the winter, we do it with Bartlett pear instead of pineapple. So, any of those tropical fruits that are not going to be available year round, just see how you could replace it with an apple or a pear, throw in some warming herbs, and then just don't let your juice sit in the fridge for a long time. Drink it right after making it.
A juice pear sounds so good.
It is. That was what I was just drinking. Spicy greens is kale, cucumber, pear, jalapeno.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. So I know when I checked your website and you mentioned on your site, the different ways that you like to work with your clients and helping them heal. You obviously mentioned holistic dental work, like we've talked about, movement, detox, nutrition, mindset, and you also mentioned energy healing. How do you support clients in finding practitioners in their area that can support them with some hands-on healing, whether in person or remote?
So most everything that I do at this point is really through my shares on Instagram, on my Instagram page. I early on, especially while I was going through my journey, didn't have the capacity to take on one-on-one clients. And it's just not something that I've revisited since then, because I'm really running Alchemy. And then all of the content that I create goes on my page, Carly Loves Kale, so I can reach a lot of people at once. So wouldn't say that I actually have a specific way that people can find energy healers in their area, or like that I could be like, go to this website to find energy healers, right?
Yeah.
But the recommendation that I would say is to ask for recommendations, such as go to your local health food store, go to your local yoga studio, and start asking people like, who do you work with? Who has supported you with trauma, healing past traumas? Like somatic practitioners are usually a good idea, but all different. I mean, regardless of the title that they have, a lot of people can help with energy, whether it's meditation instructors, yoga instructors, somatic therapists, massage therapists, chiropractors, cranial sacral therapists. There's all different people who can support your energy. I think it's really like a matter of what the deepest healing would be for you. In the beginning, I actually did a lot of past life regression work because I wanted to see if there was anything like past life connected to the neck and thyroid and things like that. And that was actually a woman that I had found in Australia. And quite honestly, I can't remember her name right now, but I could get it to you. And you could put it in the show notes, because I just worked with her remotely, and she came from a recommendation from someone online, and she did specific past life regression work. So that's also a form of energy healing. Things like Reiki. So it's like, what is someone's heart really needing? Is there something specific that they're working on? Are they feeling like a certain way? And, it's so varied how we can support people energetically, emotionally, spiritually. But I would start by getting clear on like, what is it that I actually need? Like, what's my end goal in doing this work? And then asking for recommendations. And when you connect with the practitioner, just ask them like, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. Like, can you help me with that?
Anything in particular that you're really into right now in the health, wellness, or spiritual space that you're kind of exploring for the first time that is really piquing your interest?
I'm really into the water right now, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing a lot of research on that. And I think what's fascinating about that is that we all drink water. There are some people that I will just never reach with green juice. They will never drink it. They will never do an enema, ever. But everyone needs to drink water. And so I find it really exciting that there's this tool that can help us so deeply with something that you're already doing every single day by just filling up a glass of water. So I'm really enjoying working on that, studying that, supporting people with that, helping juice shops and chiropractors and doctors get it into their offices for their patients, because it is an expensive piece of equipment. So a lot of people are getting it for their home, but also practitioners are offering it. And then I would say the follow-up to that is really just my own mindset. Like those books that I recommended to you, like I listen to them every single day on repeat. My goal is always like, how can I live from a place of love? That's my daily question. And it can sometimes be difficult because we live in a modern world and we have to make money and we have to raise children and we have to drive our cars in traffic. But I believe that there's like, when we can elevate our mindset and we can live an embodied state of love as much as possible, then we begin to experience the world through a different lens. So maybe that the argument with my partner is not going to happen, or I'm not going to get stuck in traffic because my experience of life is different because of what I'm choosing to embody. So it's almost like I love to use myself as like I experiment on myself, right? And then I share it on the internet. Like I'm trying this and I'm doing this and I'm eating this and let's see what happens. And if it works, people are like, great, I'll try it. And if not, we just kind of abandon it and go on to the next one. But for me, I've been having some very profound results in my own life just by every day asking that question of like, what would love do? Or how can I live in love right now? And just surrendering that and softening my edges. And because I'm a New Yorker and like I can bring like a little fire. And so that's a good thing about me. It's helped me a lot. And I'm in a chapter of life where I'm looking forward to just like softening and surrendering and calling in more love and ease and alignment. So that's a personal journey that I plan to share with people more as I see what serves and supports me the most, really.
Well, I would love to hear a little bit more about your morning and evening routine, because you're a health and wellness practitioner, but you're also a wife and a mother. So you're a great example of having to balance, idealistic morning and evening routines with reality. And things kind of always shifting, and other people kind of reaching out and needing you first thing when you get out of bed. So could you walk me through a little bit about the things that you do every morning and the things you do every evening to kind of support yourself?
Yeah. So morning, gratitude, water, coffee enema, juice. And then normally my son goes to school around 8:30, and that's when I'll go do my walk before I start my work for the day. And then in the evening, I will often do my red light in the evening. So now I'm thinking about what are things that are going to help me wind down? Because also if you think about walking, a coffee enema, those are uplifting practices. So in the evenings, I'll do a sauna, I'll do my red light, I'll do a detox bath with baking soda and Epsom salt. So you start seeing these are more practices to wind down. We'll sit around the table and we'll do a prayer together or a meditation together. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's really standard for my evening. And I know eating a nourishing meal, being present with my family, saunas, detox baths, red light. Oh, and castor oil packs. Castor oil packs would also be an evening activity. For me, they're very, very peaceful. And you have it wrapped around, your liver for an hour. So you're often just laying down and resting. And so right after that, I can go do a bath or shower and get right into bed. And it's such a beautiful way to end the day. I like to diffuse lavender in my room, put lavender on the bottom of my feet and to diffuse it. And then I have blackout curtains in my bedroom. So I make sure that there's no, lights from alarm clocks or light pollution coming into the room. So my body can actually go into a deep restorative sleep. It's why sleep is so, so important, because it's when our body does all of the rehabilitation and the repair work. And so that alone, just prioritizing sleep in and of itself, if you say, I can't do any of these, this sounds ridiculous, a red light and a sauna and whatever, no, it's just not happening. I'm not buying a juicer. Drink some clean water and get some sleep. Right? If we can start with that, can it be confusing and expensive? And sure. Yeah, it can be. And sometimes when we're healing cancer, it needs to be a little bit more extreme than just the everyday flow of caring for ourselves. But it can also be really easy. And I think so many people do not get enough sleep, and they don't get enough water, and they're cranky and they're tired and they have migraines and their digestion isn't working well. And we can just start by getting them to drink water in the morning, get enough sleep at night. And within a few weeks, they're a veil begins to lift. Yes. And when that veil lifts, then you feel inspired to do more. So you say, okay, great. I've got water and I've got sleep. What's next? Okay, why don't we add in a juice? All right, if you add in a juice, whoa, I'm feeling better. This is amazing. Give me more. All right, let's read this book. Right? So it can be this very gentle trajectory of healing that can start simply. And as you feel ready, you can just add more things to it. But I feel like some people don't get started at all because it feels overwhelming. And I think just go to sleep. Just go to sleep.
Are you mindful of the types of sheets or pillows you have on your bed? Have you found, an organic cotton or linen company that you really prefer having on your bed? And did you find kind of non-toxic pillows that you found support you and your husband the most?
I actually really don't like my pillows right now. It's so funny because if my husband heard this, every third day, I'm like, we really need new pillows. We really need new pillows. So no, I do the actual pillow itself. No, but I would love to find one that I like. I like you have one?
No, I'm
Okay.
selfishly asking this question because this came up last night. I laid my head down on the bed and I thought it's time for new pillows. And
Yeah.
my pillows I got at an organic holistic trade show in like 2013. I mean, it's been 10 years and they're washable, because it's all natural fibers. And it was from a small company, I want to say in Virginia. And it was great when I first got it, but it's just the fibers have broken down so much. There's nothing there anymore. It's time for a new one. And I haven't been sure where to start. So I thought I'd ask somebody else in the wellness expert lane. And
we'll have to put it on my
Yeah.
Instagram and see what feedback we get, or maybe someone will respond to this podcast here. But sheets, I have organic bamboo sheets that I love from Cozy Earth.
Oh, Cozy Earth. Okay.
Cozy Earth is the brand. I have like a set of their pajamas. I have their robe. Their stuff is so soft. So yeah, I use their stuff on my bed, and then yeah, that's it.
I use I can't pronounce it correctly, Koyuchi, which is from Northern California. It's an organic linen brand, and I use their linen, but because it's so natural and linen's already thin, I power through the sheets in about 8 to 9 months. And then your feet will just create holes in them. And yeah, you kind of go through them quickly, but they're lovely when they first start.
Okay.
But you power through them pretty quickly.
Yeah. 8 to 9 months. I mean, that's not, I guess it would depend on the price point to see if it's worth it to be buying sheets again every 8 to 9 months. But the Cozy Earth ones I've found are very durable, and I'm really into them. I have 2 different sets of them. So.
And then could you mentioned your bath routine with baking soda and Epsom salt. Do you have a ratio that you like to use?
I just do a cup of each.
Okay.
Yep. 1 cup of each. And if you're really doing a detox bath, put the water as hot as you can go without burning yourself. You know what I mean? But if you're really intending to sweat, because we detox through our sweat, through our urine, through our bowels, through our saliva. So those are all of like our drainage and detox pathways. You would want to put it as hot as you can and sit in it for 20 minutes while still being comfortable. And then you could put the Epsom salt, the baking soda, and that's just going to support that detox there. 1 cup of each. And then I do it with my son, and I cut that in half. And if he's not feeling well, I will also add some hydrogen peroxide to help with the detox process as well.
Oh,
so and even for young children, you can do it with like a 1/4 cup. So my first son is like 3.5, so he would get a 1/2 cup of each. My other son is about 10 months, so he would get a 1/4 cup. So when there's like coughs or anything going on like that, the first thing I do will get them in a bath. I love baths. I take a bath.
Yeah. Are there essential oils that you like putting in the bathtub?
I'll often do frankincense. Frankincense is a very healing essential oil. For just like calming, I will do lavender, but when I'm doing more of like someone's not feeling well, I use the frankincense.
That's really nice. It's really protective too on a spiritual level.
Yeah,
that was a good reminder for me. I haven't had that essential oil in my pantry for a while, so I'm going to take that as a sign to pick up a new bottle.
Good. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I feel like it just gives you exactly what you need.
Yeah, I also like chamomile a lot too, and I find that really healing as well. But for the baths, I love ones that are soothing yet spiritually protective, because I feel like it helps build, a multi-layered protective shield. So sometimes I use, now I'm blanking on the name. It's the really ancient traditional one that is the shield. It has cinnamon and clove.
Oh, thieves.
Yes. Sometimes I'll put a few drops of thieves in there, or rosemary, just because rosemary is antifungal. And I feel like that's always good, especially if you've just been wearing socks too much in the winter season.
And thieves, I mean, really in the winter, you can be putting thieves 2 drops on the bottom of your feet every single day. It's like dressing your immune system. So I would do that on my son's spine before he goes to school as well.
Oh, how nice. Oh, what a sweet practice too. And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, where can people connect with you, learn from you, get your juice? Please share all the different ways people can get in touch with you, work with you, etc.
Sure. So on Instagram and on TikTok, I'm at Carly Loves Kale. My website is carlybrownwellness.com. And then our juice company is alchemyorganicjuice.com. We do ship nationwide. We do door-to-door delivery all around Austin and the surrounding areas. We have one Austin cafe, and then we are opening up a second cafe in Dripping Springs out in the Hill Country soon, coming soon.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And that's so nice that you guys have the delivery service. That's the dream, you know?
Yes.
That's what everyone wants. It's just their green juice delivered to the door. So
that's it.
That's
when we
amazing.
first started the company, I was like, I don't want people to have any excuse. Like, I'll make it, I'll deliver it, I'll pick up the glass jars. You pay for it and I'll do everything else. So I think that's helped hold people accountable with their juicing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Texas is very lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it. I learned so much from you. I was taking notes as we were chatting, all the different things that you reminded me of that are just so good for you that I want to apply back into my life. So thank you.
You're so welcome. It was a joy. It was really fun to chat with you.
All right. Well, take care and hopefully we'll connect again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.